So of all the places on the planet that produce some of the best watches in the world, Germany has to be at the center, and in the center of that is Glashutte. And today we have a really special treat. We're joined by a brand that I am investigating further. I think is one that is definitely underappreciated. This is Union Glashutte. I'm here with Tobias, their head of product. Very nice to see you.
Teddy, it's really a pleasure to meet you here in Glashutte, and a warm welcome.
Thank you. So what I'd like to do, because this is an introduction I'd really like to propose in looking at some of the key pillars of this brand. Before we do that though, Union, tell us a little bit more about the brand.
Yeah, Union is one of the oldest brands here in Glashutte, founded in 1893 by Johannes Dürstein. And really the interesting thing is that beside Adolf Lange, Julius Assmann and Moritz Grossmann, Johannes Dürstein was not a watchmaker, he was a sales guy. So his focus was really more on products and design and marketing them than on the technical issues with all the things. So he started in 1874 with a wool sale in Dresden called Dürstein and Company, and he was very, very successful with selling A. Lange & Söhne pocket watches all over the world. And later on, he decided that he wanted his own production. So on the 1st January 1893, he founded Union Glashutte as one of his companies. And the special thing is also within his wholesale, he has different types of quality, prices, and technical things. And so Union was for him the top brand for his whole wholesale. And in fact, with having something special within the other Glashutte companies, he has a philosophy. He wants to have the same quality as the other brands, but for a better price. And this is pretty much the same philosophy that we have today. So we want to produce high quality watches, mostly manufactured here by hand by our watchmakers in Glashutte, and but they have to have an affordable price. So good design, good quality for affordable price. And this is pretty much what Johannes Dürstein's philosophy was back in the days.
And then today, your watches are being assembled here, producing your parts, many of your parts here, to meet that Glashutte standard, correct?
Yes, yes. For all that are not familiar with the Glashutte standard, or this is a security quality logo, let's say it like this, it means that 51% of the value has to be created here in Glashutte, but also the main production steps like producing your own components, mounting your own movement, the regulation, but also the casing of the design. So with the hands, with the dials, all these things have to be produced here in Glashutte. And we will see it later on. I'm glad to show it to you. The special thing also for us here in Glashutte is that only educated watchmakers working on our watches. So we do not have other professionals or operators that are doing just one single step. Really, every watch is produced by educated watchmaker that was at least 3 years in education or in watchmaking school, and everything really is mounted by hand, regulated, oiled, so you can see it really like 100 years ago. There's not a big track and not a big production line or line production in this kind of way. Really, everything is produced by hand, and this is what we're very proud of, because at the end of the day, the price of the watch is really something very good. And how do we manage that? And we are using ETA constructions as a base, and of course producing our own components. And the ETA movements we get only in spare parts, so nothing is pre-assembled before, so everything is made by hand. And so we're doing a good combination between, let's say, the Swiss construction, also with silicon hairspring, a lot of power reserve inside, the latest technology from Switzerland, but with the fine watchmaking here from here in Glashutte.
And you are producing some of your own parts here as well, so like specialized components, you will do that, maybe some bridges and things of that sort. So it's kind of a combination of things to make that work.
Yes, for example, all the balance cocks, the automatic bridges, the oscillating weight, the rotor is produced here. We also have our own movement within the 1893 line. I can show it to you later on. This is really also a design and construction you can only find within our watches, but it's not so expensive like an in-house movement.
You mentioned the 1893. Maybe we start there because we refer to your history. So can you tell us a little bit more about this collection and the piece in front of us?
Yes, so 1893, also the name of the line, is our founding year. So we try to bring the pocket watch design on the wrist of the consumers. So we're using, for example, this really the design codes from back in the day. So animal white coated dial. Then we have this slightly curved case that looks like really like a pocket watch. And on the front side, we have this temperature blued hands, but also kind of like gold. And this, for example, is perfect because we are using a full calendar with moon indication, month indication, weekday indication. We have a 24-hour indication, small second, and of course minute and hour. And if you have a look on the back side, this is really what I mean before. This is our own movement produced completely here in Glashutte, or mounted here in Glashutte. So all that the customer can see, what you see right here, is made here in-house. So the famous Glashutte 3/4 plate, the balance cock, the gears for the power, and also, of course, the finish on top. So we have a two-tone, so in gold engraving with our logo. We have Glashutte stripes on top to show that there's also a silicon hairspring inside. We use this small gold badge with SI, so the chemical logo for silicon with the hairspring, and really everything is fine finished and later on mounted by hand, oiled by hand. There's a regulation, and so it's really a good example for Glashutte craftsmanship in a more classical or historical design. Yeah.
41 millimeter case.
Yes.
Power reserve is
65 hours.
65 hours. And is this 100 meters? Did I see that right? 100 meters of water
100
resistance.
meters of water resistance.
So even though this traditional, because this is very classic Glashutte watchmaking here in terms of this approach, you have this heavily lacquered dial that evokes this enamel type look, triple calendar. It's very sharp, and you still have that upside of kind of utility with that 100 meters. That's nice.
Yes, so all of the watches, except the sport watches, do have 100 meter.
So minimum, so 100 meters minimum.
Yes.
For all your watches.
And you mentioned already the animal coated dial, and this is also kind of like the philosophy that Johannes Dürstein had in mind back in the days. If you probably know it a little bit better than me, a fully kind of like burned animal dial. It's very, very expensive, and of course inside of the production there can be a lot of damages. So if you start with 300 dials, there are only 3 or 5 are
failure rate is very high.
Yes. So we decided to if we want to have the animal look, but not to have kind of like this expensive dials inside of the watch, because at the end the customer has to pay for it, we try to find a solution to bring the same look. And this is what we have right here. The animal is a coating technique, so we have 3 to 4 different layers of color code. Then there is a clear coat on top, and at the end there are the Arabic numerals printed. So you have to have the feeling, if you look closely with the lens, that numerals are floating on top of the dial, and this really brings you the animal feeling, but it's not has to be so expensive like an original animal dial.
One other model within the 1893 collection, if you'd like to just quickly go through this as well.
Yes, so this is our 130 years anniversary piece, a very nice hand-winding chronograph, and the design is completely based on a pocket watch that we found a few years ago, and we were able to bring it back home to Glashutte, brought it from the collector back. And so the very special thing about the pocket watch, and also of course the design that we see right here, the pocket watch is from the late 1910s, and it was a very, very modern design and piece unique for a customer, because normally if you see pocket watch, especially chronographs from this area, they have also the animal white dial, they have Louis Song's gold hand, so it's very, very classical. And this is a cool and modern look. So we have a silver brushed dial on front, the small second and the minute counter. with this special forms of hands and also temperature blued hands on top, and really also the curved design. 41 millimeters is the chronograph, and 65 hours of power reserve. And look at this beauty. So it's really something very special. It's also based on an ETA construction, the A05 movement, and we designed it that really the lovers for chronographs really can see all the functions. So if you start and stop the pusher, all the gears and all the levers are visible. So you really can see how everything is working, and really also brings you the deepness, the 3D look, like a city, really to have all this shade inside that has an open chronograph. And also right there, all the bridges are made here in-house. Balance cock is made here in-house, and also of course the whole finish with the Glashutte stripes, the gold engraving, perlage on the balance cock, perlage on the gear bridge, and so the blue screws, all the levers are polished, so it's very nice.
Moving along to something a bit more playful, so we go from very traditional to something that has more of a contemporary form and playful color palette. So can you tell us more about this? Because this is intriguing. I like also 40 millimeter case. This is very sharp.
So very poppy. So for Union, it's very special that we are a partner of a lot of old-timer sport events here in Germany, but also in Austria, Switzerland. And for years, we bring up new ideas and designs that came from the car perspective, so the car inspiration. And for this year's Noram Estate, we use a color chart from a German car company, and really brought this original colors from the late 1960s on the dial side. So this is our Noram Estate, 40 millimeters in diameter, with this nice, extremely doomed sapphire crystal on top. And really look at the dial. It's really, really stunning with this Bahama yellow, and really it's made like a car varnish. So it's also, again, like the enamel coating. We have a lot of layers with the original color paint, then the clear coat on top, then the indexes, and also the details, for example, that the Union logo is also made like a sticker on the car on the back side. So you can really see like Chevrolet, like Audi, like Mercedes, it's printed on top. Also highly polished. We have this nice chrome ring. So all these details that reminds you on these old and vintage cars. 100-meter water resistant movement, automatic movement with our own rotor with the nice Union engraving. Of course, the whole movement is finished with the Glashutte stripes. We have silicon hairspring. Also, again, you can see right there with the silicon badge. 60 hours of power reserve. So really, if you want to wear it only in the weekday, lay it off on Friday, Monday morning, put it back on your wrist, and you're fine to go. So it's really the 60 hours of power reserve. They are really quite nice. And as you know, silicon hairspring, anti-magnetic, it's really something that you have in your daily use, iPhone, iPad, or for example, you guys fly back to the US tomorrow. So it's also on an airplane, on the airport, a lot of magnetic fields like everywhere. And so the silicon hairspring is really something very, very nice, and brings up the quality in a lot of ways.
And you have how many different colors in this lineup? You have about five?
5 different colors. The yellow version, we have a very nice poppy blue, also a bright red, a gray, and the green tone that you're wearing exactly to your shirts. It's quite
color coordinating
quite nice matching today. And so we're quite happy because this is really something that makes you smile at the end of the day, and caught your eyes on the point of sale. And this is what we want to bring to our customers, a little bit like a happiness, smiling, and it also could match perfectly to a vintage car.
Yeah, I love those. I mean, that glossy texture too for the dials really does pop with that lacquer effect. So within the same collection, but a dive watch here, correct?
It's the same design DNA. So we have an extremely curved dial and curved box glass on top, and within this time an turnable bezel with the ceramic inlay, 200-meter water resistant, screw-down crown on this very nice Germany-made textile strap. And even for a sports watch, we do have the glass bottom on the backside. So you can see our beautiful finished movement, even for the 200-meter water resistant, really something quite cool and quite special. And yeah, I will show you also again in very nice detail that I think it's very interesting for a dive watch. So if you look closer, then the indexes, but also the hands, they are on one side, they are polished, and on the other side, they're with a stripe finish. And this is not only a design thing, but it also makes it very much easier if you have bright light on your watch or something low light. So sometimes the polished side gives you a little bit light back, and the matte side is also disturbing a little bit of light. So it's really a very quite nice design detail that you can see only on the second view.
Oh, that's a great detail. I mean, you're talking about being underwater. Visibility is the number one concern, and sometimes with very limited light, you don't have the opportunity to always see that superluminova. Maybe seeing a small little reflection when you're moving, that helps with orientation and being able to see that time. It's a cool little trait.
Well, but also on a hot summer day, sometimes you have to too much reflection. It's really something hard to read, and this is quite nice design detail that makes, let's say, also the quality of the watch. It's sometimes the second view or second look that caught your eye, but it's the small detail that we care about in Glashutte.
42 millimeter case, correct?
Yes.
42, and then
but it wears a little bit smaller.
It does. I tried it on my wrist. And then for the colors, you have multiple different colors for this model available. This is more like this. I don't even know. It's like a blue-green sunburst.
Yeah.
So now I want to transition to a watch that has been catching my eye because of just its silhouette of its case, but also because there's a lot going on. There's multiple hands that I'm not usually used to seeing. So could you tell us more about this piece on the far right?
Yeah, this is our Avarin, and your description is almost perfect because it's the same thing that we want to have when the customers see this watch on the first sight. You probably like it or not, but you have your eyes on it.
It grabs your attention.
Yes, of course. And Avarin, it's a 41 millimeter square case, and it really has a very nice flow form. So also on the glass side, if you look closely, it's really doomed and curved in the right angles. Also the pushers is really flowing with the case structure. And what makes this so special, it's a chronograph with full calendar and a moon phase. So a lot of going on. And we have a patented date display. So we have a hand from the center, and this hand has 3 different lengths: a short, a middle, and a length. And this will show you later on these 3 different levels the date. So if you turn the crown, I could show it to you very easy. So with we have the most length of the hand, showing you the 29, 31 date, and then it's jumping to the shorter one and showing you 1st to 10. So it's very something unusual to see.
Very cool.
And makes also the design, so the whole design with this black and white and this large display for the date, something very, very unique. And the 41 millimeters is actually quite wearable. So the first design we had in 2008 was really something very brutal, but it's also caught attention back in the days. And now the Avarin is one of our top sellers, and it's really something very special. And we only have kind of like this color combination with the black, white, and red. You can also find the red on the reversed built strap on side. Of course, we have the glass bottom with the chronograph inside, silicon hairspring, 65 hours, and of course also 100-meter water resistant.
Nice.
Even this sometimes for the construction quite hard with the squared gaskets. So, but it's really something very stunning and quite unique for Union.
Yeah, it's very cool. And I also like the tie-in with the moon phase. Then you have your AM, PM type of indicator where you split the register at that 9 o'clock position with the kind of starry night and the white for the daytime. It's cool. Well done.
Yeah.
It seems like another aspect of your history you've been playing on, we've been talking about throughout this process here, is automotive, right?
Yeah.
A lot of inspiration from that whole realm. So we have one final chronograph here, very much looking like as if it's racing inspired.
Yes, of course. It's the racing inspiration from the 60s. Actually, the Baldassarre chronograph, also one of our top sellers since almost more than a decade. And also quite here, these are the details that makes the watch so stunning. So in fact, with the, let's say, very familiar other watches that are playing with this kind of like color combination, we are using only 2 of the totalizators are colored, not all of the 3. And it's always like kind of like you to bring the focus when you're driving the car, bring the focus on what you want to have. Do you want to see first the daily daytime? Then you have, of course, the focus on the black indication on the dial for the small second, hours and minutes. And if you really like racing your old vintage car or racing around, then you want to have the focus on the chronograph. So that's why all the displays for the chronograph, they have the different color. For example, outside the tachymeter, we have the minute indication and the hour indication, also with this quite nice red. So the red second hand has the red tip on the front, and also the minute counter and the hour counter. And packed really in a vintage design. So we're using this Art Deco print. And
I love the typography there. I mean, like the 8 to me, like
it's very clean, but also caught your eye in a kind of way. And again, it's also the quite nice details. So we have a slightly domed glass on the front, and look at the pushers. This is really kind of like a really cool detail that I think the start-stop pusher had this kind of like on-off.
Yeah, it's like a power indication.
Symbol. We have the Union crown with the U, and the reset, of course, also with the reset. For Baldassarre, it's very special. This is a design detail that we use since 2008 as well. We have this screw-down flanks, so it's really not only a decorative thing. So if you have kind of like a custom service issue, so you maybe drop the watch or it's something else, you can easily only change the flanks and do not have to change the whole case. So it's kind of like the German thing, design meets function, function meets design. And also on the other side, so all the Baldassarre models do have this flanks screwed down, sometimes also with DLC coating or in 18 karat gold on other models. And so something very Baldassarre things. Of course, also glass bottom. We have all the straps that you can see right here, also manufactured in Germany. So also you can see and feel the quality and the Baldassarre models. We have different special editions as well on this, sometimes a little bit louder. For example, last year we have this bright yellow to silver version, a blue version, and so on. So we are really playing around with this model a lot in the last years, and it makes, especially for me as a designer, a lot of fun to play with it. Yeah, kind of like our main watch.
Tobias, thank you very much for this walkthrough today. I mean, for myself, it's always fun to inspect something that's a bit new, because I'm in this industry every single day.
Yeah.
You see a lot of the same old when it comes to watches. So to see a brand that has been doing things for a long time, but still producing watches that to me are yet to be discovered by so many is exciting. And I really appreciate the time today.
Yeah, Teddy, it was a huge pleasure to have you here and going through the collection, or at least a few of them.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.